Malna, South Sudan implemented a Wagif campaign on fair, transparent and accountable public procurement process, targeting decision makers at community, state and national levels. Wagif is an Arabic word that means stop. In this case, Wagif means stop corruption. The campaign project was aimed at to engaging community leaders, government officials, CSOs and the youth through radio talk shows, social media and community outreach activities in an attempt to raise awareness on public procurement process and its effects on peace building, service delivery and nation building. When asked what he understands by corruption, the South Sudan Anti-Corruption Commission Director for Corruption Preventive Services, Mr. Joseph Mabrouk, defined what corruption is and cited different types of corruptions in South Sudan.
The simplest term for corruption is the abuse of power for private gain. There are so many types of corruption. One is that it's bribery. Somebody wants to get a job, he can buy his way so that he can get that job. This is bribery. And another form of corruption is embezzlement and tribalism. Somebody wants to, give services only for his tribesman.
Mr. Joseph agrees that there is high rate of corruption in South Sudan. He provided research-based evidence from anti-corruption survey finding.
I would say corruption is happening in South Sudan. In 2012, 2010, South Sudan Anti-Corruption Commission did survey, and also in 2015 and 16, South Sudan also conducted another survey. And according to people's perception on corruption, about 89.8%, nearly 90% of people of South Sudan, they were saying corruption is happening. We do carry investigations of cases of corruption, and we will forward those investigations, the result, to the Minister of Justice. And just frankly to say, South Sudan Anti-Corruption Commission has not yet get the law that allows South Sudan Anti-Corruption to prosecute cases of corruption.
A member of South Sudan Youth Alliance, Mr. Lotte Santimund, has his focus on accountability as a tool to fight corruption and said many youth have become victims of advocating for accountable public procurement system.
Accountability is an act of being responsible of your actions and decisions, having the obligations to report and give answers to the public on the decisions or the actions that you have taken. In most forums and in most platforms, youth are always asking for accountability, though they become victim of, because accountability, people think when you're asked to account, it's in a crime, and that is why youth becomes a victim of always being asking for accountability. At the end of the day, they end up behind perhaps maybe bars because they have asked for accountability.
In regard to accountability mechanism, Santimon says that accountability can smoothly be achieved if there are well set and defined principles in the institutions.
What are the principles that are set for people to follow in terms of accountability? You see that you are requesting something. How much do you request? What does the principle say?
Mr. Lado Charles Peter, working for Ministry of Justice, differ with how people define corruption. He believes what is happening in South Sudan is not corruption.
To me, ours is not corruption. There is corruption all over the world. But the degree matters. The degree of corruption is matters. You can make corruption silently, something little. But here ours, we take it as a looting. We are looting the government resources. And there's a difference between corruption and looting. And the question is, who loot this country? It is our leaders. That's why I said it in time.
Mr. Lado doubted the implementations of the public procurement law even if it was passed and signed, because there is no independent body in charge of ensuring its full implementation.
We are using the Act of 2009. Then, from 2009 up to 2018, where South Sudan owned his own public procurement law, where it was passed in the parliament in 2000 and signed by the president, General Salva Kiir in 2008. Now we use it. Now it is already put as a law in the country. But based on the business or interest of the people, it thinks it is very difficult for us to implement the law. Although it was passed, but it was very difficult for us to implement it because it is not independent.
He believed that the judiciary is not independent, and he recommended that it should be independent for it to make independent decisions. Lado echo anti-corruption statement.
Anti-corruption is right. I just wanted to give you an example, and I believe if I give that example, it has answered you everything. There was a case in the office of the president. One of the staffs are stealing government money in the office of the president, and that man was caught. He was taken to the prisons. The case has reached to the Ministry of Justice. There's a committee, 2 to 3 to follow lawyers following up the case. The person was taken to High Court, Jerusalem, for his trial. And later on, the judges were ordered to move out from that case. That is one. Two, the following day, the lawyers are ordered to cancel the case, to release the man. Of course, the decree came from above. I don't know from where. A person was released. The same persons who were stealing the money, he was appointed as under secretary in one of the ministry in the government of South Sudan. Now, it is indicating to us that it is quite useless for you to arrest someone, to form a committee, to send a good lawyers to discuss about the case, and later on, a call come out from your above, then you are ordered, my brother, you release this man. That means the judiciary is not fully independent. The Ministry of Justice here, we are not above the law.
Luate Joseph, the executive director for Amalna South Sudan, explained the citizenry role toward building participatory, accountable processes and addressing the gap.
We are happy that we have now the public procurement policy in place that is now signed into a law, which is a very important milestone for the people of South Sudan. Yes, now we have the law that many people do not know how the law works, and the provisions within the law say, and even those who are within the government, those who are within the civil society organizations, and those that are and the citizens in general, they have no idea. So that is a very big issue that need to be done. The role of the citizens in the first place is to understand how the public procurement policy works. Now, what will be the role of citizens? In this case, the citizens have the right to stand up to say enough is enough to corruption, and in this case they are able to go to these offices, to those who are, to their leaders, and tell them openly, we are tired of this. So what we are calling is, and the most important thing that need to be done is for the Anti-Corruption Commission to be independent, to be given more powers, so that they are able to prosecute the corrupt leaders, so that there is nothing like the judiciary that is doing a role of the Anti-Corruption Commission, so that the Anti-Corruption Commission does it itself. For us to be able to see a transparent, accountable process in this country, there is a need for an open and transparent tenders that you'll be able to see advertised, and you'll be able to see that local companies are able to apply, and that the whole process is competitive.
Amalna South Sudan Executive Director, Mr. Lotte Joseph, explained the experience from the projects.
A lot have been said during this forum. In this case, we really want to urge that the civil society organizations need to do a lot if we need to end corruption in this country. The civil society organizations need to create a lot of awareness about the public procurement law to the public, to the citizens to know. We will continue engaging in dialogue. We will continue engaging in organizing forums that will bring different stakeholders to discuss and find a joint way of how to end corruptions within the country. So that is one of the things. The second thing that we intend to continue to do is to also to create the awareness on radios, especially this is a way that we'll be able to reach to many people across the country. And we also intend to continue to engage those lawmakers, especially the parliament, continue to advocating also for independence of anti-corruption commission, and then also the audit chamber. There is a procurement, then there is need for an audit. So we urge the audit chamber to also be independent and to take a role to ensuring that all the procurements are done in line with the public procurement policy.